Didn't Zoom when we went to do it. Hello.
What's going on, guys? This is episode 7 of Superior Strength Coach. We are going to talk today on how to create a niche inside of an existing business. And Mike will talk about the person he's kind of working with most right now.
Sorry?
Talk about Matt.
Oh. And what was the first thing you said?
How to help him develop himself.
Yeah, so one thing we look at, alright, so with our interns and now apprentice, is that the term we're going with?
Sure.
Apprentice, right? We're always trying to mold, and even each other, we're trying to mold ourselves into the best versions of us. And one thing we have to stress is that we're not trying to replicate exactly what somebody else is doing and trying to be a mini Billy, a mini Jay, a mini Mike, or something like that. Because at the end of the day, what's going to happen is you're going to be faking it, and people are going to realize, and people are going to be able to call you out on that. So the biggest thing we try to tell our interns and apprentices and each other and ourselves is that take a step back, be yourself with it. Be all right when you have to ask another coach for something. Be okay when you feel like you fucked up. And be okay when you think you know the answer, and just do it your way every single time. And the term we like to use, and
Jason Folco coined the term.
When I first started out, because what was the reason?
So we've had other people who've come in and they've interned with us, and then we've had them kind of coach, but they would come and go. And we had for...
You got sugar in this?
That's a yes.
You got sugar in this?
We've had people come through in the past and kind of be like, they try to just make themselves a micro version of another coach who was already here. So we had a coach, Trevor Costin. He had played in the NFL, a Division I football player, very outgoing personality. And we had people who would come in and try to be Trevor. And that didn't work because he's himself. He wasn't trying to be anybody else. He was being himself, good, bad, or indifferent. He at least had his personality for who he wanted to be. And we had other people who just tried to replicate Jason, who's an amazing speed coach and knows what he's doing, and just try to be the exact same version of him, down to wearing the same clothes, like
Trying to
talking to
the same chicks.
people, and all these things that
Sure.
that
Not clients.
that really kind of made him who he is. And Mike came in, and he was in another internship class with Aisha Yurji, and Mike was unapologetically himself. And it was something we always said we needed a third guy between me and Jay. Like, me and Jay were running back and forth between us, but we needed that third strong personality to balance everything out, create the troika, create the trifecta, have somebody else who creates the environment with us. And we saw early on that it was Mike. Mike's internship didn't even, I think, last the full 3 months. It lasted probably 6-8 weeks, and we were like, all right, fuck it, Mike's on board, because we knew. We knew so soon. And we had another coach that I got a job in another facility, a second facility, because it didn't seem like he was fully committed to things. So that coach left, went there, and within a couple months moved out of state and is completely out of the profession. But I sensed it early, and we started to feel like, hey, we have to shift towards something. So when you're walking into somebody else's facility, the biggest thing that I can tell you from an owner perspective is I want people who are strong personalities who then also are interested in learning about how to do things our way. Mike came with a great background, had worked with other coaches, had done other things, had powerlifted, had bodybuilt. So he had a great foundation of knowledge already, which allowed him to quickly adapt our system onto him. And then when he started seeing results and he started seeing people, he's like, all right, so this is a great whole way of doing things. How we're kind of flowing and going is great. But then he just stayed himself. He didn't try to be us doing our system. He was himself doing our system. And I think that's why he's had success, is he found a great system to apply and then be himself with. And how has your career, since you started here, how has it taken shape?
Yeah, so it's been great, right? TLDR that one. It's been fucking awesome. One thing I'm realizing is that, and you hear it from everybody, but you have to like do it yourself and see it for yourself, is that you're not going to please everyone and you're not going to be everybody's coach. And there's kids in here who love me and they'll come to me for things and they'll ask me the speed questions and I have to be like, go to Jay. There's kids who love Jay and go up to Jay and say, hey, how am I doing this exercise? And he's like, go see Mike, things like that. And that's going to happen. And that's totally cool. And you just have to understand that. The same way that you're not going to attract every type of online client. You're not going to attract every type of in-person client, every athlete, no matter what. You just have to be yourself and put yourself out there and people are going to pick up on your style. And I think that like the whole vibe when we talked about this of like even stoked and like just doing what I do and like I like to go out. I don't take competing that seriously. I like to have fun. I like to socialize. I like to go and have drinks, go off track with my diet, whatever. But understanding the underlying principles of that and still sticking to them, but still doing it my way, attracts people who want to live that type of lifestyle and want to go out, have fun with their friends, and not take competing as seriously as some. And it's a great contrast with Matt. So Matt, who's the coach that we're talking about, who also works with me on our online business, he then attracts the people who really want to take it seriously. Because Matt's a world squat record holder. He placed second overall with total at IPF Worlds this year. So people see that, and he's straight edge, total different. Straight edge, doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, doesn't go out and party, and he just wants to compete. And
come in breakfast 10 a.m. eating grilled chicken and vegetables, because that's what his macros tell him he can have today based off of what he needs to do. So just a very, very different guy. But in the last 2 weeks, I'd say, he's started to be himself.
Oh, hell yeah.
As a coach here, and you're seeing him flourish.
Yeah,
I think.
sick. And like he's sticking like the kids who
are about his mentality.
Get with him, and then the kids who don't necessarily have his mentality, but see him being genuine and not trying to fake a mentality, are also then attracted to him because they're like, all right, that's just who Matt is. It's whatever. It's not like, why is this kid trying to be like, why is he trying to be my friend? It's kind of fake, whatever. It's not in this case now. They're understanding like that's just who Matt is. I can still relate with him or something, and it feels a genuine connection, which you don't get taught that, I don't think, in like an exercise science degree.
Not at all. And one of the things, and listen, I don't think I have everything figured out yet, but I'm building my business and this business kind of in the way that I would hope someone else would see me if I were working for them. And that's with the idea that I look at my coach's strengths and try to build what we're doing based around what they're really, really great at. We talk about how Mike came on board and has really reshaped things. The way we execute our primary programming with our athletes has changed because of the fact that I have a very strong person at speed development in Jay Folco. If you don't know Jason, you got to Facebook friend him, Jason Folco. And then Mike in weight room and strength training, and they both love that area and they love that aspect of what they're doing. It allowed us to create an environment where I was putting our expert in their best environment and allowing them to attack things. Looking at Matt and looking at yourself and looking at, we have an added area of space that we're looking to expand into. And as a business owner looking at what do I think is going to be the best thing, at one point in time I was like, let's make it a turf area. It'll allow us to expand out what we're doing from speed development and everything else wise. But then really I'm like, looking at the weight room, we need more weight room. And I think that takes priority. So we're going to make a strip of turf so we have the ability to run 40-yard dashes inside.
Green.
But then beyond that, we're going to add more powerlifting focused stuff. And one of our gym members is here and he's doing his workout, and Mike can't not help, which I love. But we're going to expand out. We're going to have more powerlifting equipment. We're going to get 1,000 pounds more weight, and we're going to get benches, and we're going to get new racks that are more highly adjustable. And we're going to sell a membership, and we're going to start a powerlifting team. And that's because I want to allow my coaches the opportunity to, one, coach their best life and coach to what they have the most happiness with into what we have as a plug and play kind of system. If I made everything just what I like to do, I think that underserves my coaches to what they want to do. So expanding that, having that, allows me to keep putting them in positions to be successful. And again, it's why I look for people who are willing to showcase a strong personality, because from a business owner perspective, I'm now building out revenue streams for Superior Athletics that are based around him, or based around Jason, or based around Matt. And as we expand and we get other coaches who come in, I'll do things that are based around them. We might be lucky enough to have another coach coming on board in a part-time role, and he does kin stretch. And can we build out a class for him? Can we do something where we say, hey, if you're going to be here working with us on these few days of the week, what other areas can we do to add dollars to his pocket and to add a result to our program that fits his qualities and fits his skills, to maximize him, both as something for the business and for his own personal career.
Yeah, I was about to say, like the whole Eric Cressy kind of mindset of all right, so what are the chances we build a facility and starting out, right? We're 2 years in?
Mm-hmm.
About to be 2 years. Starting out, even in the first 5 years, the business is so successful that you give every coach here $100,000.
Yeah.
What are the chances of that?
I mean, I don't know any gyms that have people who are non-owners where their trainers make $100,000.
Right. Yeah, even a successful place, like, is that going to happen? No, but
MFF, I think, is something in the ballpark of, and again, I'm not counting people's pockets, but I've heard in the past, $60,000 to $70,000 which is an amazing career in this profession that I think people don't get, because everybody knows that there's $100,000 trainers out there. Mm-hmm. So they're like, I can work 25, 30 hours a week and make $100,000 a year, and it's like, no, you can't.
Not right now.
No,
build that shit up first.
No, you can't. Like, if you get to the point that, like, I'm lucky enough that I pretty much, like, recently said, hey, I'm going to start doing some more one-on-ones, and pretty rapidly people are able to just pop into my schedule, and these guys are like, yeah, you got to put a cap on what you do because of the other things, which I do, but like charging $100, $125 an hour for a training session as an average across the week took years and years and years of time to get to. And there's other coaches out there who are like, I'm going to charge $150 on Long Island in a place where there's not high traffic day one. You're going to have a really hard time building up who you are, and I think that goes back to being unapologetically yourself, is be real and understand kind of where you're at, and if you're working for somebody else, use that as an opportunity for them to help you build who you are. Like, I've had people who say to me, like, hey, you got to be really, really careful how much, you promote Mike. Because what happens if Mike decides 2 years from now that, hey, I'm going to go open, Stoked Athletics, the facility, and go? I'd be really happy for Mike that he can go and do that. And it was based off the fact that we can do it. But my goal is that I maximize how we interact with Mike and how I interact with him over the course of his time here. That one, I create enough opportunities for him to live his best life in-house, that he doesn't need to leave and go anywhere else. Also, on the flip side, that if we build a strong enough culture, thanks to Mike, that we're going to be able to have other interns, other people, other coaches who would be willing to step in and take over for Mike, that we wouldn't be so hurt. But I think that comes back to me giving everything I have to helping him be as good as he possibly can be. And I don't look at that as a threat. I look at that as an opportunity.
No,
go ahead.
No, the point I was starting on was that the chances of, okay, so again, the chances that anybody starts out and gets $100,000, we're already saying out the window, right? But being able to build us up and get us other revenue streams and teaching us, hey, like the fact that he goes, no, I want you to have an online business on your own and I want you to make that money and things like that, lets me be comfortable here, being the best I could be here, not worrying about money now because I have those other revenue streams. And all that together, as we keep building up, why would I want to be, is the question, So, yes to all that you just said, basically, right? No, seriously, like, think of it, like, the idea that, like, it goes back to the scarcity versus abundance mindset, right? Like the idea that I'm just gonna grow the pie, and everybody with a small piece is gonna grow their small piece bigger. And it stays true for strengthers, it stays true for a lot of things in the business. But I think other people look at it, and like you said, be like, well, you're just fucking yourself over at the end of the day, because then you're gonna build Mike up and he's gonna leave. Why would I? If I'm making more money now, if we can keep building, if we can keep opening or start opening other spots, whatever we end up doing, you know what I'm saying?
He's dropping secrets out here. No, like listen, like seriously, but I think that's the goal. Is that my job is to find as big of a team of people, and if I find somebody who's so highly talented, I'm not going to let them go. Instead, I'm going to try to find a way to maximize and give them opportunities. And for me, like we joke around about it. Mike put up on a post one day that he does all his stuff for when he's 30, right? And I think the 30 is his goal now, right? And that for Mike is 6 years from now. I always say I'm doing it for 40-year-old Billy, and I think we've had that conversation many times that I'm more willing to live small now and struggle now while I'm young and I can handle all that stress and all those things, because I'm trying to set up a life for 40-year-old Billy who is going to have a kid in school and be married and have all this stuff that's going to then take away. My mom's pumping her fist in the background. She brought the coffee before. But have all those things and do all that stuff and have all those opportunities it's created by what I'm doing now. And if I can make a bigger team and sacrifice some of my pie so that somebody else can eat, long term, I'm going to have a bigger pie to eat from myself. And I don't see it as a threat. So actionable points for you guys. Be unapologetically yourself, whether you work alone or whether you work with somebody. Mike was who he was before he came here. I think that the environment allowed him to inject his brand with more life, and that's when things just have started to roll to the point that Mike's adding people to his online program, multiple people every single week. And we're not talking about people who are just average people, we're talking about powerlifters, people who might win nationals are his clients, and it's because of the brand he's built, but the success that they've had, and the fact that legitimately both coaches, Matt and himself, are in the trenches working with people on a day-to-day basis. It's not like, hey, we're just online coaches, we're just programmers. If you haven't watched our video on that triangle of who you are, they're coaches. And now they also program, and they're building this thing. But do that for yourself no matter where you're at. If you ever wanted to come and work at Superior Athletics and be here, I would ask you to make sure that you feel strongly about who you are as a coach, because the environment can eat you up when we get to wintertime especially, and you might see 150 people a week, and there's coaches coaching all over the place, there's new people thrown into the environment, there's all this hecticness. You feel like you just want to be a bot, and you just want to be somebody else because you see them having success with it. That's not the way for you to build you and build a career, is replicating other people. Be ready to be yourself. Be okay to be yourself. And then you'll really be able to grow. Both in a good business, and there's probably people out there who are afraid to give you education, afraid to give you information, afraid to give you the keys to their facility. Get the fuck out. Like, there's good coaches out there who want to do it. Mike Boyle, I'm wearing the shirt today. I got an opportunity to talk to a couple of his coaches who started a business internally. What Mike did for them to be able to enhance their personal brand inside of Mike Boyle Strength and Conditioning. If you guys don't know, movement is medicine. Those guys, they've had the opportunity to build a brand inside of a global brand. And the owner of that business, Mike Boyle, isn't threatened by their success, but on the contrary, it's only brought him more success. So if you see one of the best in the industry not fearing it, kind of take a step back and be like, how can I not? Don Saladino. Don owns Drive 495. I don't want to say the name of the other one because I don't remember what it is. Drive 493, Drive 433. Can't remember. But Don has Charlie Weingroff inside of his facility. And that's a huge personality and strong person to be there. But I mean, Drive doesn't lose its brand. And he doesn't have to worry about, oh, he's going to go and he's going to do, like, promoting that, having him in there helps. It grows it. It gives it credibility. It gives it ownership. Like, that is the important thing, is creating great people and allowing them to be themselves, because that's where you're going to really have a business that, for me, I talked about before, hey, do you feel bad when I leave early some nights? Because I have struggled, like, I shouldn't leave because I gotta be in this grind with these guys. And he's like, no, on the contrary, like, I love when you leave because it's actionable, showing me that I know you believe in me. But the fact that you're comfortable to just go and you know that the business runs, like, it lets him feel like I'm doing my shit right because he doesn't have any worry to just walk out. And I'm going and I'm going to start trying to take more of that because I know it empowers them, and I know that they'll flourish more if I step out and they have more sun and less shadow of me.
Hell yeah.
So that's Superior Strength Coach, episode 7. Be on the lookout for Superior Strength Coach, episode 7.5, where we're going to be going over our trip to Boston and what it meant to us and why it started the fire that was always burning.
And really quick, we are looking for our winter intern class. So if you are on Long Island or even in New York City and you want to intern here, I'm going to put my email down into the description, or Facebook message me if we're pals. That's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, starting on December 1st, we'll start our next internship class. If you're interested, send over a resume, and we'll get you into a phone interview and then ultimately get you inside the facility.
Hell yeah.
Awesome, peoples. Thanks for listening.